What's going on, Easy Agent Pro family? It's Mike here, and in today's video, instead of just giving you guys a template for how to create a home seller's guide, I'm going to go over exactly how you can create one yourself and how to make it personalized to you, your market, and pretty much use it as your entire pre-listing package, which is something that you should have, something you should be using anyway. So let's hop over into the computer and I'll show you everything that goes along inside of your home seller's guide / pre-listing package if you want to use it that way. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so we're going to break this down into a couple parts. There's going to be 5 sections that you need to worry about when it comes to your home seller's guide. And the first section that you should look at is your what to expect from a real estate agent part of your home seller's guide. Now, your home seller's guide is going to go to people that are either expired listings. There are people that worked with a real estate agent before and didn't necessarily get their home sold, going to go to for sale by owners, people that think they can sell their house on their own and don't need a real estate agent, people that are looking to possibly sell but aren't necessarily on the market. So you need to have something in here that's going to talk about a real estate agent and talk about what a real estate agent can do to help somebody along in the process. And this is where you can actually talk about yourself and let yourself shine, but do it in a way so that people won't think that you're talking about yourself, but do it in a way that say you're talking about your testimonials, and you can say, oh, you should look for somebody that has testimonials like these testimonials that I have. Or if you're explaining your classes, your certifications and accomplishments that you have as a real estate agent, you should talk about all of the classes that you've taken with your local board or any of the different certifications that you've obtained as a real estate agent. If you're a part of a certain organization, you should talk about that as well. And you can tie that into knowing both the real estate industry as well as knowing your community and everything that's involved in there. So that is one way that you can say this is somebody that you should be looking for, somebody that has skills and certifications and things like this. You should also go over what you as a real estate agent should be doing. So, or whatever real estate agent that they're going to have is going to be taking care of these things if somebody isn't going to be taking care of it themselves. So the responsibilities to the client, what you're going to be doing for them, the fiduciary responsibility that you have to them, that keeping their best interests at heart over your paycheck and all of that, knowledgeable of the market and the current home values and what's going to be happening in the future and things like that. That should also be in this area. You also want to speak about having access to tools that non-realtors don't have. So we have the MLS. We also have plenty of other tools to help build our business that regular people don't necessarily have. So when it comes down to the marketing and the sales part and knowledge of contracts and all of that, we have information and things that the average person just doesn't necessarily have. So you want to talk about that in this section here. You also want to talk about giving advice and communication for the best practices for possibly selling your home. So you want to go over how you or whatever realtor they choose is going to be giving them that. And we also want to talk about how you are going to ensure that a transaction goes smoothly from start to finish, how you're going to be walking along with them and having open communication and making sure this is a painless process, because a lot of people think that working with a real estate agent is a complete pain and we're only out for a commission check. And while yes, commission checks are nice, we don't want people to think that's the only thing that we want. So you want to go over all of these different steps inside of your home seller's guide. From there, you want to go over what buyers are attracted to in certain markets. So inside, this is why I put insert your certain area, your farm area here, because you want to make this personalized for whatever area that you're working in. So if you're working with buyers in, say, Los Angeles, what people are going to be attracted to and what different buyers are looking for and what's going to be helping out sellers is going to be completely different than if you're selling a house in Maine or if you're selling a house in Canada or in Texas. These things are going to be completely different because the market is completely different. So this is why I always recommend creating your own home seller's guide as opposed to using a template or just a plain one that anybody can just use off of the internet. You want to have something that's specific to your area that is going to actually benefit people, and not just something basic that anybody could just Google the same way you Googled it if you downloaded it off the internet yourself. So what do you want inside of this section right here? You want to have what key factors are important to your area. Now, usually this involves kitchens, bathrooms, and energy efficient parts that are inside of the home. So you want to accent these parts. But if you're in a different area that, say, people care more about open floor plans, or people care more about pools, or people care more about having more bathrooms, or more bedrooms or something, you want to make sure that whatever it is that's specific to your area, you want to go over it inside of your pre-list, inside of your home seller's guide. Now, talking about renovations in the area, this is the same thing pretty much. Say if your area calls for granite countertops or stainless steel appliances to sell for top dollar for kitchens in the area. However, some areas that is overkill for an area. And if somebody puts in, like, say, $10,000 to upgrade your appliances and granite countertops and huge cabinets inside of their kitchen, and everything else in the area is Formica and just regular black or white appliances, that house is going to stand out, and all that money that they put into the house may not come back to them when they're trying to resell. So that is something that you have to look out for. Same with wood and tile floors, or instead of vinyl floors. You kind of have to know your market and know what renovations are good inside of the area. Same thing goes for small upgrades that should be made. These are things that will work well in your area. So say if we're talking about the exterior, talking about maybe doing a touch up of paint, working on some of the fixtures on the outside. So say maybe updating the doorbell and updating the shutters, maybe changing those out on the outside as well. Small things like that that you can change that will help make the house look a little bit newer and look a little bit fresher. On the interior, you want to look at painting, changing out some of the lighting and making sure things look a lot brighter. You also want to look at closets and putting in closet organizers and shelving and things like that. So you want to know what small upgrades should be made inside of your area so that it'll help buyers be interested in moving in, and it not being a project when they move in. It'll be something that is already inviting to them. And you also want to talk about maintenance, so lawn care and air filters being changed and fans and shelves dusted off, making sure everything is clean inside of the house. And when a buyer goes into your house and they turn on a faucet when they're walking through the house, make sure that that faucet works. Make sure if they're flushing the toilets work. Small things like that anybody would be wanting to live there, they would be looking out for these types of things. So that's all for this section. Let's move on to the next one, which is pricing your home strategically. So you will want to make sure that they know that it's very important that the very first number that they put their house up for sale for is going to determine what buyers they attract or do not attract in the long term and in the short term, because house is going to have a history of pricing. So if you put it on the market for $200,000, but the market value of the house is $150,000, your house is going to sit. And if somebody is looking to actually purchase a house at that price point, the house isn't going to appraise for that much. So then the house may not sell anyway. So you need to talk about the importance of pricing your house properly. You need to talk about the factors that go into pricing a property, such as the location, the square footage, the bedrooms and bathrooms, the upgrades, the area itself. All of those things go into the price of the house. You also want to talk about the comps, which also play a big factor in your pricing. You want to talk about why you choose certain comps, how to choose certain comps. If they're searching for themselves, say they're going on Zillow or whatever before they go out and hire a real estate agent, how they should find the comps, looking for houses that have sold recently within 0 to 0.25 miles, that have sold with like the same features, same bedroom, bathroom, same layouts, hopefully within the past 30 days if possible. And you also want to remind them inside of the seller's guide that they need to remember why they're selling their house. They need to remember the why of it, because if they're looking to sell their house quickly, they need to pay attention to what the market is telling them, and they need to be impartial and take emotion completely out of the property. Like I've mentioned before, if home prices in the area dictate that that house is going to sell for 150 and they're looking to sell the house for 175, that house realistically isn't going to sell as quickly as a house that would be priced at, say, maybe 145 or 147.5, and maybe get multiple offers and maybe get that 150 or 152.5 or whatever it may be. But once again, this goes along with pricing strategies and how you're going about with that. And you also want to look at adjusting the home price based on the time that it's on market and the results from the showings. And when you're speaking to other people that have looked at the house and all of that, you need to take these things into consideration and be realistic about whether or not this is actually possible for you. Next, you want to look at how to market your home so that you can find the right buyers. So you need to go over the importance of smart marketing. And this is one of the areas where you can go over some of your marketing tactics using this as your pre-listing package. You can go over some of the things that you do to market your home, all of the websites that you put it on, your open houses, your advertising, all the things that you do as a real estate agent to help somebody sell their house. Put it inside of this section right here. Insert statistics about how people are finding their home. Realistically, most, if not all, people are finding their homes these days online. So you want to make a heavy influence, not influence, but you want to talk about that heavily, about how important it is to put their home online and make sure it shows well online, because if this house doesn't show well online, nobody's going to go to see it in person. And to make sure that it looks good in person, you need to go over things that buyers are looking for there in their search, like photos, lots of high detail photos, high resolution photos. You realistically possibly want to have somebody come in and take professional photos of the house. It's not that expensive when it comes to doing it, and you want to emphasize that inside of your home seller's guide. You want to go over virtual tours as well if possible, detailed property descriptions on the house itself, on the neighborhood, and also information on yourself as the realtor or the person that is selling the house. You want to go over the importance of posting on multiple websites, different apps, having it up on the MLS, have the house everywhere, because you never know where that one potential buyer is going to be looking. You could have your house on 100 websites, and on that 101st website, that be where the one buyer looked that just happened to see the house, that actually happened to like it and be ready to pay for it. So you need to have the house everywhere if possible. You also want to market the community as well. By talking about just the house, you're going to give people interest. You're going to have people interested in it. But by talking about the community and talking about all the good things that are in the area and all of that, you're going to attract people that are actually interested in moving to that area itself, not just that single house. And finally, you want to talk about negotiating and how to negotiate the best part of the house. The best price for the house. You want to understand the contracts in your local market. Everybody has different contracts. I know for myself, my contracts here in Florida are different than the contracts in, say, DC, and different from the contracts in California and Texas and all that. So you need to understand your different contracts in your different areas. And you want to talk about that inside of your home seller's guide and plug your training and experience going through all of these. You want them to think, okay, this person knows what they're doing, and it'll take a burden off of my shoulders of having to learn all of this stuff. You also want to go over the basic processes of receiving an offer, accepting it, counter offering, all of the things that you're doing as a real estate agent in the negotiation process. You want to make sure that they know that they need to be realistic and rational about what they're asking for in their counter offers. If the buyers are come back with, say, a 140 offer on a $150,000 house, and they come back at, and you counter offer at 149,999, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to be realistic and realize if you're going to counter offer, you need to counter being realistic about what the buyer can actually afford and what the buyer can actually do. But responding quickly is very important, and being patient for finding the right offer and getting exactly what you want. If you have that time period for when it comes to selling your house, being patient is something that can definitely help you either get a few extra more $1,000 or finding that right buyer that will be pre-qualified, that will be pre-approved and actually ready to purchase the house, and will save you a good bit of headaches. Now, this is pretty much everything when it comes to creating a home seller's guide. This is all the information that you need. Of course, you're going to probably want to cover on it and maybe your picture, and on the bottom of each page have your contact information and all of that. You don't want it to be a complete ad for yourself, but you want it to be something that people will know after they've read it. If they're actually interested in selling their house, they know that you are the person that they will have to contact, or they will want to contact to do so. Now, if you have any question when it comes to creating your home seller's guide, be sure to leave them down in the comment section below. We'll be answering all questions down there. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a like. It definitely helps the channel to grow and lets us know that you enjoyed these types of videos. If you're new, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you're not missing out on any of our new videos that we put out. And my name is Michael Hicks. I'll see you in the next one.